What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So we are going to discuss the $1,200 guaranteed income checks. We're going to dive into the $8,000 earned income tax credits. We're going to talk about the infrastructure package, where it is at and where it's going. We're going to address the new mandates in New York City, and we're going to discuss some other things in between. So first off, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you could, go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoyed these uploads, and let's get into the update. First, there are a lot of reports that are indicating that right now, that $3.5 trillion infrastructure package, it's starting to get written. Now, I bring this up for one main reason. That main reason is because as we see the bill start to get written, some are expecting this is going to be over 5,000 pages. Now, it most likely will. It's going to be a very large bill. My guess is probably going to be anywhere between 7,000 to 10,000 pages of a bill. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a monstrous bill that is going to have a lot of different line items included. What I can tell you is that experts as of right now are saying that any additional proposals that we see coming out, well, these are going to be coming out pretty much fast and furious. They're going to be coming out one after the other. And what they're saying is that some of these are going to have some type of support behind it. Others are just going to be to get that politician's name out into the media. Because remember, next year is an election year. That is pretty important to a lot of politicians. So we will see what happens. But just the other day, I told you about a new proposal. This was a $1,200 monthly guaranteed income check. This would actually start, and again, it's very confusing to a lot of people, but the way the program works is it's technically in a trial period for 4 years, from 2023 to 2027. However, the program actually starts in 2028 if it is found successful. But every single American would get a $1,200 stimulus check if they make under $75,000 per year as an individual or $150,000 per year as a couple. But again, that wouldn't happen until 2028. In 2023, the $1,200 would essentially just go to those pilot programs that are already implemented across the United States. So that's it's pretty important to understand that. Right now, I think the biggest issue with this proposal is Ilhan Omar, who's one of the ones that is proposing this. Well, she wants to also give the $1,200 stimulus checks to undocumented workers as well. So that's the issue there is, even though, yes, undocumented workers would potentially need additional money and income as well, the problem there is if taxpayers are paying for this and you're giving that money to an undocumented worker who probably doesn't pay taxes either, then there's kind of a misalignment there according to experts. So that's something that many moderates and most or pretty much all Republicans would definitely not support. So we'll see what happens there. Also today, I mentioned how Representative Gwen Moore, she wants to increase the earned income tax credit up to $8,000 per household. This would mean anybody that makes less than $90,000 per year could get up to $8,000 as an earned income tax credit. Currently, it actually doesn't go that high, but it could. It could. There's a possibility that all these things are going to start to come out. But what experts are telling us right now is that these proposals are starting to come. As to what sticks, honestly, we don't know. But what we do know is that lawmakers are continuing to push for additional stimulus. Like I said earlier today, whether this is a stimulus check or something different, that is really up to them. But they will continue to push for more direct payments. We've heard that from multiple lawmakers, but the big thing right now is that some are pushing for additional relief to families and also individuals without children. This is big, okay? This is huge because people that are, haven't started a family yet, just out of college, maybe just out of high school, or people that are, maybe a little bit older, don't have children, they need additional help as well. So that's a big issue right now is what we're going to see regarding Social Security. And I promise tomorrow I'm going to try to do a bigger update on Social Security because right now I think there's more stuff coming out, But again, it's not the focal point of the news. It's not what lawmakers are discussing at this time, because like I addressed last week, many lawmakers are actually looking at Social Security as something that it's going to see a big boost in 2022. So they're thinking, well, why should we really increase it now when the boost is coming in like 4 months anyway? So, or 4 or 5 months anyway. So that's kind of what we're seeing at this time. Now, the other big news out this afternoon, there's a new 60-day eviction moratorium. This is coming from President Biden and the CDC. They announced that the new moratorium will actually end on October 3rd. So in 60 days. This new moratorium was introduced because the White House states that they must protect those that are in communities with high transmission rates. The CDC effectively couldn't do anything. Okay, they couldn't do anything, but they found a way around their they were handcuffed. They couldn't do much. But what they decided to do is they actually made it where if you live in a community where we are seeing high transmission rates, then you cannot be evicted. Well, right now, 90% of the U.S. population lives in these affected areas. So because of that, this is the loophole, and this is their way around this. This is how they were able to do it. Now, even though many groups are already opposing this and complaining and threatening lawsuits, this is something that has gone into effect immediately. Now, House Democrats in the White House, they tried to speed along the roughly $46 billion in additional rental assistance. However, what we are hearing is that this wasn't an option because states were just too slow. They were too slow, and lawmakers didn't want to put it back into the state's hands in order to get this money out. So this means that yes, more had to be done. The White House and the CDC decided they needed to do an additional eviction moratorium, which is exactly what they did, and it has been put back into place. Now, what makes this CDC eviction moratorium a little stronger and more threatening than the previous eviction moratoriums is that now you would actually potentially either pay a fine and go to jail. Okay, so here's the way it works. Landlords could be fined up to $100,000 and 1 year in jail if the eviction doesn't result in a death. So you evict somebody, you potentially have to pay $100,000 or up to $100,000 and 1 year in jail. But if the eviction results in a death, okay, of the tenants, here's what you need to understand. You could potentially pay $250,000 and you get 1 year in jail. So you see why this is going to be a little bit harder for landlords to evict somebody. They could potentially have to pay more than what they would be getting from their tenant. That's big. And it's because of all these changes happening recently that many lawmakers currently believe that more stimulus must come. We need to see more. They say we need to see additional assistance. The COVID cases are not stopping. The unemployment benefits will be expiring in a little over 30 days. We got the eviction moratorium that now gets extended to October 3rd. But in October, on October 1st, we know the student loan payment pause is up, and the 15% on top of your SNAP benefits, well, that expires as well. So all these benefits will start to come down. Some experts say that you can't block a landlord from evicting their tenants and then hold on to the rental assistance money and say it is still their fault. Some argue that more must be sent out immediately and let landlords make the decision on their own and not be forced by the CDC and the Biden administration to keep somebody in their rental property. Again, this is going to impact mainly mom and pop renters or rental programs or agencies, right? These people. The small-time landlords. That's who it's going to impact, not the big ones, not the large corporations. And again, as all this stuff is happening, we got Democrats right now trying to get both infrastructure bills passed. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he wants to see a vote this week. He says this is extremely important. However, Mitch McConnell, the minority leader in the Senate, he says he wants to wait and take their time. He wants to make sure this is done right. This is not something they should be speeding through. His exact quote was, and I quote, "This is an extremely important bipartisan bill. There's an excellent chance it will be a bipartisan success story for the country. And to try to truncate an amendment process on something of this magnitude, I think it's a mistake." And then we got John Thune. He's the minority whip in the Senate. He says, and I quote, "I understand that the rush to get this deal done is so that Senator Schumer and the Democrats can move to the $3.5 trillion tax and spending spree that they want to get on immediately after the bipartisan bill." And it's true. They want to get this done as quickly as possible. They don't want to wait. They want to make sure that they can have this done before they go on recess in just 6 days. Now, whether this happens or not, honestly, we don't know. But as I know more, I promise I will share more. One thing I can tell you that was also breaking news earlier today is that New York City has initiated a vaccine mandate. This is the first major city to implement something like this. New York City is going to start a new program called the Key to New York City Pass, or the NYC Pass. Now, this is a program. It's not a COVID vaccine passport. It's not a new app. This is a program. And this will begin in September, on September 1st. This new program will be enacted. Now, this program is going to require all people to prove that they have at least one COVID dose, one dose of the COVID shot, in order to eat indoors, go to gyms, or attend a movie theater. So, like I said, this is the first major city to implement this. However, reports as of this afternoon say that multiple large cities are expected to follow suit very soon. So, as more do, I promise I'll fill you in on those updates as well. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.